All right, Patreon show. That's what they call me, man. I slightly followed this case. I'm not gonna speak on this on the main channel, and let me explain that real quick. It's for the simple fact that when I did the George Floyd thing, I didn't get a lot of support, and YouTube penalized me for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just keep it simple as that. I keep it offline. You want to hear my opinion on it, hear it. So apparently, from what I understand, I didn't follow this case extensively at all because it's always the same bait and switch. Black people complain injustice and this, that, and the third, and you know, somebody get paid off, or people forget, and then it die down for a while. Then it's another injustice. So apparently, from what I understand from listening around, they didn't put the tape out of what happened, but this happened in Texas. He was in like a tent or something. It was raining, and two kids or twins, ran up on him, said, "Get out the tent." He picked up, the thing that I think you screw the cleats in with, from what I understand, and to defend himself, and it sounded like he stabbed the guy, he wanted a twin, and he passed away. Now, I don't think that was his intent. People said he could have ran. I mean, when you in those situations, bro, fight or flight. And people say, "Oh, you don't know how to take an ass whooping," and he should have just took the. In hindsight, you could say the same thing. How many times, you done picked up a weapon, or how many times, y'all been playing and somebody picked up a stick. It's just, it is what it is. He defended himself. That was that was his defense mechanism. All these kids don't know how to take an ass whooping no more. And I heard somebody say, you can't, he should have just got jumped. You can't die from getting jumped. You most definitely can die from getting jumped, nigga. But until you in that situation, you know what I'm saying? He picked up a weapon, and and it sounded like he was getting bullied. He was about to get jumped. But when you black, and when you got dreads like that, you in a certain situation. Mom was with the stepdad or whatever, so dad not there, no matter all the good accolades that he had. That's what you got to understand when you make decisions out here when you get older. They've done studies on there when they treat little black boys different in kindergarten and first grade. You know what I'm saying? Don't diagnose them the right way. I remember I had this Spanish teacher. Her name was Miss Burton, and she got mad for whatever reason. She got mad, and she tried to put me, a Spanish teacher, in a remedial class in middle school. My mom was mad as hell because she had something against me. You know what I'm saying? And think about it. It's just not coming from Brads and Becky's. It's coming from people that look like you. That's why I say, when people kind of talk about the misandry or the dislike for black men, people don't talk about how it starts, in the school system. You think a lot of them misandrous, especially black women in the school system who don't like black men, you think they don't look at the little black boys and think something. But what you got to understand and what you got to tell your children is that, yo, black boys, you already behind the 8 ball. You going into life with 2 strikes. No matter who smile with you, giggle with you, when you in these situations, don't put yourself in a situation where you stealing. Don't put yourself in a situation, where you in a white neighborhood and you ding dong ditching, or you stealing, or any neighborhood. Don't put yourself in that situation. It's easy to say, oh, he should have just took the ass whooping. He should have just ran. And I guarantee you those run through his mind all the time. Now, do I believe, even when I see in the video, that his intent was to kill? Nah. But when you pick up something that sharp, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And I get it, not wanting to take an ass whooping and it go viral and they beating your ass and it go viral. What's going to happen? Gonna get laughed at, but hey, you gotta, do it. But unfortunately, you in Texas, you a brother in Texas, you a brother in America. Ain't no fear fade, bro. I heard the family allegedly misallocated the funds, misused the funds. Now they want to appeal, and people talking about they don't want to get no more money after they misused the funds. I mean, life is decisions, man. I mean, a lot of us kind of been in near decisions. We could have made a bad decision and went in jail and threw our whole life away. Some of us, by the grace of God and by somebody praying for us, we got out of situations that could have been bleak, that could have been real dark. He was in a situation and get caught up in his life gone. 35 years gone. And us talking on the microphone ain't did shit for George Floyd. Us hoop hollering ain't did shit for Trayvon Martin. What does it do? It happens over and over and over again. Because they took so many lives, but ain't one life been lost. On their side, not really. This been going on. They've been, going to black communities back in the day, hanging them from a tree, doing this, doing that, and the retaliation ain't been there. You retaliate, just imagine one person get retaliated on, it could change the whole thing. We try to live peaceful among these people. We try to forgive and forget, and we keep ending up in the same cycle over and over and over again. And I just feel like a lot of black people got so comfortable with living amongst people who hate you. They hate you so much they can't get rid of you. They still need you, but they just every now and again they remind you. They remind you. You less than an Asian person. And that video, you less than a Mexican person with George Zimmerman. You less than the police department with old boy that put his knee on George Floyd. You less. You less than. And this always tends to happen to, black men, young black men. And a lot of those situations outside of the George Floyd that happen in the South. You still see Confederate flags. You still see Confederate buildings named after racist ass Confederate soldiers down there. And, do you really want to put your kid in that situation? That's why you got to think where you live at, where you live at. This is why you want people to buy things in your community, your neighbors to look like you. This is why you want a village. A village just ain't your next door neighbor. The village can be, the people at the store. A village can be a police officer in the community, who know y'all, and they see what's happening. They see the animosity build up, and they in a real parent, a real security guard, a real authority would have cut that off, would have deaded it. But we don't have community no more. You know what I'm saying? We don't have community no more. So therefore, you can't tell me a parent to see this authoritative figure and see this and think about breaking this up. But it's like 2 lives gone. The young man that got stabbed, and then his life is gone. It is what it is. And people say, it's going to be all right. We're going to pray. Nah, he going through this. He going through, no matter all the good you did in life, one mistake can erase it. Don't forget that. No matter how much good you did for someone, one bad moment can destroy a friendship and can destroy life.